Yo! Video games.
What's up, dudes? Matt here with another E3 2014 Impressions video, and this time I'm going to be talking about a game that's been getting a whole lot of press and buzz lately, and that's Mortal Kombat X. And yes, it is pronounced Mortal Kombat X. This was confirmed to me by multiple developers at Netherrealm working on the title. So, for those unaware, this is the 10th official Mortal Kombat game, and it's going to be on Next Gen. In fact, Next Gen is the primary target system of these games. The PS3 360 builds may or may not be outsourced, so if you really want to get the full experience, you probably want to buy it on PS4 or Xbox One. Now, everyone saw the initial CG trailer, and CG trailers are kind of bullshit, and I agree with all the complaints about them, but at E3 we actually got to go hands-on with Mortal Kombat X. And I gotta tell you, this was probably the most impressive game of the show, not necessarily because of any sort of graphic fidelity, but don't get me wrong, it is very graphically impressive. What impressed me most was how complete and finished and full of a product it was with just the initial 5 characters. The animations were fantastic, the backgrounds were unbelievably good looking in person, and the gameplay, especially the gameplay, was exceptionally well done. Now, the big change to this Mortal Kombat is the fact that every character has 3 different alternative movesets or playstyles. The way I look at it is like this. Each character has 3 different grooves, like in CVS2. And if maybe you're having trouble learning or fighting a certain opponent with your favorite character and you just need something to get around them, you can actually choose a different playstyle. Now, their basic attacks and some of their basic special moves are the same in each version, but each different variation will have completely unique special moves. For example, one of the special movesets for Sub-Zero is called Cryomancer. And Cryomancer means he basically can create weapons like axes and swords out of ice. And those are basically used in his combos. Another version, which is one I prefer to use, is called Grandmaster, and that's where he can create a ice statue of himself, which if an enemy touches, freezes them, and he can also throw that ice statue. Grandmaster is a very zone-heavy mode for Sub-Zero because basically you can set traps and constantly throw out ice fireballs. It was really fun to play as and try all the different fighting styles. So even though there were only 5 characters playable, you multiply that by 3 and you get 15 characters that were technically playable. Maybe not quite entirely that deep, but you get the idea anyways. As for the new characters, well, Kotal Kahn looks really cool. I enjoyed playing as him. One of his movesets, he has a big giant square sword. I preferred that one rather than his more trap-based character where he had these different totems that he would set. Ferratora was pretty cool. He is kind of like a bit of the Grundy-esque character of this game. One of his move styles has a very risk-reward where the little girl on his back will stab him and take some damage, but it'll boost his stats temporarily. And then there's a version of him where you don't have anyone on your back and it's just the big brute, and he's got way faster mobility and he can roll forward and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Scorpion was pretty cool. He had one of his modes, he could use 2 ninjutsu swords, and other modes were more based on his fire-based attacks. Devora, the Wasp chick, was pretty neat. Her combos were kind of fun to use. She's got a really annoying moveset where she can basically summon a whole hive of wasps from the ground up, make kind of like a wasp tornado, and that was super annoying because it was really effective at stuffing opponents and stopping moves. Another thing I can say is that, unlike Injustice, it does have interactable backgrounds. However, not so much attack-based ones. A lot of the interactive environments are there for basically jumping over your opponent or getting away or getting closer to them really fast. I mean, there's some stuff where you can chuck a dead body out of the water and throw it at them. There's a really, really hilarious interactable where you're in a marketplace and you can grab this old lady and throw her at the opponent, and then she crumples over and dies after, hitting the opponent or hitting the ground. And speaking of violence, my god, this game does tone up the violence. It was really interesting to see because I was playing with Max and Steve and Kenny are huge Mortal Kombat fans, and even they were kind of turned off by some of the ultra-realistic hyper-violence, especially in the fatalities. For me, I kind of just laughed it all up, which maybe that speaks to how much of a sick fuck I am, but at the same time, it's like, this is, to me, Mortal Kombat's always been about pushing the limit, pushing the shock factor, having as much violence and grit and gore and guts on screen as possible. Yes, it's more detailed now, but honestly, that's the reason they used digitized graphics back in the 90s. They wanted it to look as real as possible. It's always been realistic and always been ultra-violent. This is nothing new to me. I just don't understand where some people are somehow suddenly shocked or appalled or unable to stomach the violence that's coming out of a Mortal Kombat game. And kudos to WB for not telling them to tone it down, or maybe toe it in line a bit, or maybe try to sell it to some fucking kids. Screw all that. It's Mortal Kombat. It's really violent. It's really realistic. It's made to look like a very hyper-realistic fantasy with gobs and gobs and gobs of blood and gore and guts and detail. So, kudos to them for that. Now, as an outsider looking in, I've never been into the Mortal Kombat series. I don't really like hold a button to block, and that's still true in this game. It is still hold to block. It does have a run button and alongside the dash meter. It still plays like Mortal Kombat. It still has that, I don't know if you'd call it stiffness or whatnot, but yes, the animations are leagues better than anything Netherrealm has done, but it still plays like a Mortal Kombat game. It is still a Mortal Kombat game, but however, I do feel that there is more to this game from a gameplay perspective that can get people who are into other fighting games like me to come in and play Mortal Kombat and have a really good time. Because the reality is, I did have a really good time. I had a fantastic time playing the game. I know this was Max's game of the show, and I can understand why, because it's extremely polished, it's extremely well done. Even at 5 characters in, it just feels like a really great, solid foundation they've already built. And going forward, I'm sure it's going to get better, too. So, yeah, this is easily to see why someone would consider this a game of the show type of game. For me, I'm just not into the Mortal Kombat that much. I've never been good at it. I've never tried to be good at it. I've never got into the lore or the characters. It just never appealed to me that much, but honestly, this was a great game. I had a great time playing it, and this is coming from someone who doesn't really like Mortal Kombat that much. So I think Mortal Kombat X is going to be a humongous fighting game come next year, and I think graphically, yeah, you're going to start seeing the real, true horsepower of next-gen consoles on it. It's not to downplay any title like Killer Instinct or anything, because that was made on a very low budget and a very short amount of time. So, I mean, no disrespect there. It's just, this is a game that has a huge budget, has a huge development staff, and is made to be a flagship title for WB Games 2015. Can't really say anything more about the game other than if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you are in for a hell of a treat. If you're a fighting game fan, you want to look at this, you want to pay attention, because this is going to be some really great stuff next year. And if you're not a fighting game fan, well, give it a look anyways. Netherrealm has set the bar really high with their single-player content in their fighting games, so this is, by all accounts, probably going to be a fantastic 2015 title. And yeah, I mean, I understand it's Max's game of the show. I don't know if it's my game of the show, and to be honest, I don't think I really have a game of the show, as it were. So yeah, you want to play this game. You want to look forward to this. This is real. This is legit. So hopefully you guys like what I have to say from an outsider's perspective looking in, and I'll catch you next time on the channel. Later, dudes.